Hey guys, John here. Today I want to show you how to make this type of staccato string pluck kind of sound in Harmless, and it sounds like this. All right, so let's get into this here. So with this patch here, we're going to be using the default saw wave. I'm not going to be using any of the harmonic mask because you can see the mix knob is going to be down. The release itself is going to be 129 milliseconds, and we're going to be using this pluck at about 12%. Let's turn off our effects here so we can hear it a little bit better. So off on the chorus, off on the delay, and off on the reverb. So with this pluck here is going to be at about, was that 14, 15%? So we have this all the way at the top here. It's kind of there, but we really want to shave off all that extra stuff and kind of add some of that stuff later back in. So that sounds pretty decent there. I also brought the volume up a little bit here, about 4.1 dB, because once we add everything in, that kind of the level will drop a little bit. Now, an important part of the strings that I felt is this grit knob here. So I added 18% of that. So without this on, it's very clean sounding. And once we add this grit to 18%, it's a subtle effect, so let's go all the way to see what it's actually doing. So there we break the song. So a little bit of this goes a long way. So 18%. Moving on to the filter envelope, it's going to be at 22%, decay center, and attack 0. None of these curves here I change. Now, this is going to be keyboard tracked at about 77%, because once the higher notes get plucked, I want the filter to open up just a little bit to really hear those top harmonics as well. The width is going to be at 50%, and then the frequency cutoff at 73, and we're using a crude low pass because I kind of wanted the low pass to kind of be a little bit sharper than the classic stuff, so cutting off a little bit there. And we're going to be using the noise for the resonance just about at 40%. Kind of gives that weird sound at the end there. So if I took this away, it's cool, it's close, but I felt this is kind of cool to add in just a little bit to kind of sneak that in. Once everything's on top of it, it has a cool effect at the end. Because it kind of almost gives a little bit of random harmonics there and kind of moves things around a little bit to add some of that to it. We're going to be using unison order of 7 here, the pan's all the way at the top, and these two are going to be default at 50%, and then the variations at 0 because we're not going to be using anything with a phaser. Next up, what's going to be important is the harmonizer, octave up and final, and this is going to be 100%. So if we had this all the way off, we have the core sound, but we really don't have that top end, that harmonizing stuff. Now we're going to have the width at 50%, and the strength is going to be at 25%. No LFOs here, and then this is basically the core, I guess, of the sound here. And last thing I forgot to mention, the crude is going to be an octave, and then the noise is going to be on hertz. And now we're going to add in some of our effects here. So I wrote down here the different ones I use because sometimes I forget which ones they were on. So cathedral is going to be the reverb to really open it up into that place. And this is going to be at about 45%. So I dragged it down 5% from default. Instantly makes it huge. Next off, we're going to use the stereo or the delay here, and stereo, as that was right. Volume is at 50% for the input. The feedback is at 33%, and then the time is at 3. Next, the chorus. This is going to be a big move here too. So we're going to go on the chorus, and then we're going to go on to the thick. So if we turn off our reverb here and our delay and just listen to the chorus and notice how it changes the sound. If we have it off, then we go to thick, it almost gives it some of that grit, that kind of texture sound to it. And this is going to be mixed 100%. So with it on, then with it off. With off, it's very clean. It almost adds a saturation type of sound, it feels like. Which really adds to the string effect. And then our delay on stereo eyes, and then our cathedral reverb. And I always put these effects here at high quality. Now you might notice this mix knob is a little bit down from default if you have caught that. I did mess around with some different types of compression here, but I didn't feel like it sounded right with this patch, because with the staccato you kind of want that abrupt hit and then it kind of goes down, and compressing all that with the reverb and all that just sounded horrible. So no compression on this one. And that's pretty much this in a nutshell. It's not too difficult to make, but also kind of play around with the release as well, and the plug in tandem to kind of get that right sound to it as well. So that's the patch, and this is the song again if you want to listen to it. Thank you for watching, and if you want this preset, it's free down below in the video comment description thing at the very bottom. You'll find it. It's fine.